I'm going to show you some cards that play better than their stats. And a lot of these cards are so cheap and so good. Even some of the pros actually use these cards on their second account. So I'm going to go through them. I've got every single position as well. We're keeping the budget low, under 300k, 400k, sometimes even 100k, 50k. I want some real good gems that play beyond. I got to first start off with defense. So people struggle the most. I think King, look, as what a player was in real life, I could tell he's an Arsenal fan myself, even though I didn't like him, of course, as you can naturally imagine, but he's a fantastic player. Now, this card is dreadful, but this card is amazing. 90 sprint speed, 94 defensive awareness, good agility and balance, and he's got the bruiser, he's got anticipate, and he's got the jockey playstyle plus with defender plus plus. 180k, gives you also the chemistry that you would need if you want to play him in the Premier League. I think he's such a good card. So underrated, so underlooked. People think his passing is bad, but the main two important passing stats are there.
You want to get better at FC25 now? Before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? That's the NealGuides guarantee. We got in-depth tutorials that are not even on the YouTube channel. We show you the theory of something and we show you gameplay examples in a structured format. We also go over real-life football examples that apply to the game and exclusive pro gameplay analysis, full gameplay analysis to elevate your game. We teach you everything from the basics to the meta. Come join at patreon.com/NealGuides. Links down below in the description. If you don't get better after 1 month, we'll refund your money. That's the NealGuides guarantee. Links down below in the description.
Good physicality. I think with his shadow, he honestly goes into the territory of honestly being one of the top 15 centre-backs inside the game. That playstyle really makes it. Anticipate as well. Who could you combine with it? Euro is a good card. I know he's a bit pricey. He's got the aerial and block. So if you want someone that's a bit more taller, has a bit more of a presence, you could argue, and you're really playing for the aerial playstyle, he's got the regular jockey playstyle as well, and he's got the distribution methods as well. He's a very good card. Double the price, but still nonetheless a good card. And he has a French link, which probably increases price quite a lot. Kunde still goes up there. It's so funny how this card just, like you can see, he shot up in value. Very, very underrated card. Yes, he dropped a lot, but for the jockey playstyle plus, you guys know Kunde has been one of my favorite centre backs year in, year out. Good agility and balance. People don't understand this, but agility and balance, it doesn't affect the run and jockey per se, but it affects the transition between a normal movement and then the run and jockey. And you'll always find they'll feel better. The jockey playstyle plus really makes the biggest difference, but he's a good card. This power card is also very, very good. He is 500k, but La Liga links as well. And if you're looking for one, the best right now you can get is Pavard. I think King and Pavard, albeit the leagues are not ideal, I think those are just some real good gems. Before we move over to left backs, actually, I just want to show you one thing. For goalkeepers, there isn't that much. I personally would pick Tim Howard. I think for what he has, he's decent. Otherwise, you know what you could honestly go with? Just go with Gold Martinez. Especially if you use the rush out. Anyone, Van der Sar's a bit pricey, but anyone here, regular Van der Sar, even this guy's not too bad, but the issue is he can be a bit short. So any of these cards are completely fine. Now, if you want some really dirt cheap options, Bombito is a good card if you do his SBC. Be careful with him. He hasn't got that much long left, but he's a very good card as a left back as well. I've used him. And Kusanov is another good card, 60k only. With those defensive playstyles, he pretty much has every defensive playstyle as well. I think he's a real absolute gem. And of course, he has aerial and quick step. Very, very important. I think he's an absolute gem as well. And then you have Singo. Now, he's an okay card. I think his defensive awareness could be higher, but with the jockey playstyle plus for 16k, I think he's a card where you just can't say no to. So if you're coming back into the game, those are cards to use. Now, Pavard is what I'd recommend. Left backs, there isn't too many price performance. You could argue Theo Hernandez, even at the gold Theo Hernandez being 250k. Unfortunately, isn't that many good players available for the left back position. But I would say Pickett is actually, I call it Pickett's charge. I think she's a very good card. You know, of course, her league is probably the biggest difficult. That is the problem with a lot of these players. You know, when you find a player, for example, if I use my filters here and I choose left backs only, you're very much restricted. You can see Batcher is an obvious one. So Batcher is the obvious card that came out. She's absolute still a gem. But again, it's the league. So if you're looking for those two price to performance, those are pretty good. In terms of left backs, you do have Cole, you do have a few other players, but it can be quite hard. If you do this, everyone got this card for free. But there isn't that many options. Lorenzo is really good for a right back. I think he's a very good for a right back card. Got the sprint speed, got the jockey playstyle, intercept as well. Most people struggle defensively anyway. So this is the kind of card that will go in, unless you got Mycon or something like that, or like Team of the Year Cafu. But intercept, block, rapid, first touch, relentless, up and down the pitch. Got the ability to play wing back as well. What a card he has. Good defending, physical, passing, and dribbling stats. McManaman also goes in. Don't forget his evolution with the King of Egypt, whatever it's called. Late to the party was a new evolution as well. But I think he's still a very decent card. Pure stats wise, if you look at this card and you isolate it and you put the name of Mycon on this card, people will pay a much higher price. And I think he's very much worth it. He did inflate a little bit, but I think his price performance is too cheap. I wanted to mention him in CDMs and center mids, but since he's here, I have to mention him. I think he's one of the best CDMs inside the game right now that money can buy. He probably pays, unless you can afford Matuidi in that kind of level, I think this is probably your best option to go with the money that you do have. Got loads of passing play styles. Fantastic as a right back as well. Alberta's other guy can play center back as well. But as I said, for CDM, we'll come back in a second to Trent, but Trent has to go there. If you're looking for attacking CDMs that give you chemistry, he's got incisive and power shot and ping passing. Look at his stats. People underlook this card so much. I think he's also a brilliant card as well. His defending should be actually better. It's just because his slide tackling brings the overalls down. So it's a bit of deception. But he's 4-star, 4-star. Can play cam, CDM, and center. One of the few players like Buffon that can play all those three positions. So cheap. Xavi Alonso, I'm telling you right now, I've used in my main account. One of the best cards, honestly. I agree that he's not the most defensive, but he's got 88 defensive awareness, 87 sprint speed. With a normal jockey, he's fine. He's not going to be making those tackles, but he's going to be there at the right time at the right time, right place at the right time, and his job is to distribute. I think he's such a good card. I don't think you can say no to him. I think he's a very, very good card. If you're asking me personally speaking, I think Gross is also another very good card. I think with this Gross card, the thing that lets him down, and it's the same with Calhan. I think you say it's Calhan Glue. I think that's how you say his name. I'm always going to butcher it, but the thing is this card is very good as well. They're both very, very good for their price. The thing that lets him down is the 84 sprint speed. Now, if you're sitting here and you're watching this in Division 6 or Division 3, a card like this can really help. But the better sprint speed you have, the better you're going to play. Even though you don't think it will, even though you think it won't make a difference, the average player makes mistakes. And if you're part of the page, you'll see this in my Goal to Elite Division 10 to Elite Division series, where I go through every single game from the Division 10 to Elite Division. Anyway, the point I was trying to say is a lot of people make mistakes defensively. They run out, and it's fine to make mistakes, but most people don't know how to recover. That's the real secret. Is that even I make mistakes when I play aggressive, but it's having the pace to recover. If I'm using someone with 80 sprint speed, I'm not going to recover. So CDMs, although it's better to have an all-round card, I would much rather you have 92 sprint speed and then let's say 86 defensive awareness, as opposed to the other way around, because you want to run back in time. Very, very important. It'll make a lot of money. That's why the jockey playstyle is very, very pivotal. Rabiot has to come in. I've used him as well. I used him as well. I showed you. I think he's a very good card. He lacks the defending playstyles, but I think as a centre mid, tiki-taka, paying pass, got power shot, it's kind of what you want. For 35k, who's complaining, really? It's such an absolute steal of a card. Trent, as I mentioned to you, guy can do everything. Just absolute god tier of a card. Then we go over to cams now. The most expensive player here would be James. I think for Team of the Year, she's very good. I agree rating is very much better, but if you're looking for a universal card that can kind of play across, she can play right wing, right mid, and cam. Not many people have good right mids. They've got good left wings, like the Mbappes and so on, but not enough Jameses. To be honest, if you really wanted like a good winger, we all know you can get Mbappe now for 400k. But Ham will go in as well. She can play both cam and striker. She's a bit on the higher end, but I think for her price, she is a very, very good card, top level card for her price. If you're looking for also someone that can play that cam, CDM, and centre mid, although she doesn't get the Link Williams, but if you have the James Link or whatever, power shot, ping passing, very good stats on paper. Her defensive awareness isn't the best, but that's what I explained earlier. but look at those shooting stats. So can you imagine if you played her in cam? Just imagine subbing on, playing her in cam with a 5-star weak foot. It would be nice if she had a finesse shot play style, something like that. But power shot, I think she's an absolute steal. I think I look at her more as attacking centre mid, but she can play that cam role as well. A very universal, diverse card. You know, if you're switching formations quite a lot as well. Bruno Fernandes has to come in, more of an attack-minded card, but you're really just paying for the play styles here. So if you're a tiki-taka and long ball abuser, you will know what I'm talking about. I think he's a very good card. Cole is actually not a bad card either. I was using him for a bit, especially you use technical quite a lot. He's an okay card, but he can play multiple positions as well. Quite affordable. I already talked about Vialli being a very good card. But one card I forgot to mention as well was this card over here. I had him in my tier list. I think he's a very, very good card as well. First touch and incisive, more of a cam. So if you're looking for a cam that's got incisive, that can finish. And he's not that tall, you know. He's only 5'11". He's not like 6'2", so you can still dribble as well. I think he's another very good card. Tiki-taka, paint passing. He has basically everything you'd want for a striker. The only thing he probably doesn't have, if the nice to haves would be, for example, like press proven, and if he had quick step, it would be a big difference, and power shot. But apart from that, he has all the main ones you want for a cam. I think this Mbappe card over here, Ethan Mbappe, is actually a decent card. You know, 5-star, 92 sprint speed, 95 sprint speed, so 92 finishing. An actual decent card. 5-star as well. I think he's got some decent playstyles. Quick step playstyle +1, the best. Rapid. I think for his price, an SBC can always be used as a sub as well. Some of these Evos are very, very good. I think the best price to performance all around, I would say, is Malin. Gone up a little bit because of the upgrade, but 93 sprint speed, 92 finishing. Long shots are abysmal. Don't get me wrong, but when you have someone inside the box, their main job is to finish the chances. But I think you can do a bit of everything. He can header the ball. He can score with both feet. He can hold up the play. He can go forward. He can play as a striker, advance forward. He can play as a poacher, play left mid, right wing, striker, right mid, right wing. Play multiple different roles. So if you're looking, let's say you just want a card that can do just a bit of everything. Like you see, he's went up just slightly a bit. I think he's a very, very good card as well. And then one other card I wanted to throw in that I really liked was Robbie Keane, and that would be another decent card as well. That will conclude this kind of series on best cards, best value cards. I know some of these are, I'm not going to say too expensive, but I want to put it down to quite pricey. Salma is also a good card. There is quite a lot of good cards here. So if you're looking for strikers, I'm just going to quickly show you a few pages. Feel free to screenshot. These are just some stats that I kind of pinned over here. And if you're looking for the real 5-star, 5 stars, there's only a handful of cards here. Look, the Raider Foot birthdays. There isn't that many choices. And Van Basten is not a bad cheap card either, to be honest. But like there's actually some somewhat affordable cards. I think if you're really looking for like the high 90s, so let's say we dropped the sprint speed to, ideally you'd want 90 sprint speed at this stage of the year, ideally minimum, without a shadow chemistry style, without hunter chemistry style. You can see the few of the cards there. Dalglish still good, Eusebio is still good, but I think that's an obvious one, but you all know that. And even Gold Boots Regenio, you could argue still get the job done. I think that's everything though. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace.